Andrea, you played in a very good Albion side from 2012 to 2014, but what do you make of the club's progress since you left?
Well, it's surely remarkable. People might think that they're going beyond any expectations, at the current moment of time, but I don't know. I had the feeling that this club was destined to do something special, and obviously it's not a surprise to me to see them going like this.
Did people talk about targets when you were here? Did they, was there that ambition in the air? Could you sense it?
Well, Premier League was a target, even though the team hadn't been playing in the Championship for that long when I joined the club. But just playing at the Amex, having that sort of stadium, the new training ground was being built. The players that were arriving at the club, the coaches we had, yes, the target was the Premier League, but without overspending, without hurrying, just taking the right steps and going into the right direction. So we knew the ambition of the club, and we just wanted to be part of it.
And has this whole revolution caught the imagination of people in Spain? Have they noticed that Brighton and Hove Albion are on the up?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, now in Spain, obviously the signing of Ansu, has made a huge difference. So every single game, every single Albion game is live on TV. It's in the media, what Ansu does. But before him, the way the club was playing, first under Graham Potter and then with Roberto, De Zerbi, you have to talk about it. It's impressive because you're going up against the biggest clubs in the UK, and you just play better football than them. So it's something that people need to talk about.
You've had a very varied life since you stopped playing. Just tell us what you're up to now.
Yeah, I've never stopped. Once I had to retire, I was forced, due to a heart disease. So the first thing I made sure is that, health-wise, I was fine, and I am. So I'm a healthy boy, which is great. I went back to Barcelona where my family was living because my last 6 months in football were in India, playing with Iñigo Calderón, by the way, with Calde. So the girls were going to school, and it was about me to adapt to them for the first time in a while. And I just embraced the opportunity of, seeing what was going to come after, and started doing some media straight away. I started in Barcelona, working for the club, the TV, Barça TV.
Yeah.
And then, it kind of developed to more work, doing La Liga TV, where we cover La Liga in English, everywhere around the world. And then, more opportunities came. So basically, I work on TV every single weekend in Spain. And, apart from that, I work for an agency as well. And we look after, Antoine Griezmann, for example, who's a world champion.
Of course.
And that's very interesting, very challenging. I look after, very talented footballers, and it's something that I really like, the sort of mentorship and agency work that I love doing. So I tend to say that I work more now than when I was a player. That's for sure. That's for sure.
Well, you work pretty hard as a player. So you're scouting as well, are you? I mean, are you spotting players?
Yes, yes, and I love the scouting bit. And obviously, I know this club is well known for the scouting department, but I just love it. I love watching football, analysing it. I was at the under-18 game last night. Obviously, Calde's coaching. And I don't know. I just like to see talent, to see how players develop. To then after the game drive back to Brighton with Calde and speak about the game for an hour and a half and not getting tired of it. So I just love the game. I feel passion for football. This is what I love.
Yeah, there was a very Spanish flavour to the Albion side that you played in with Bruno and Calderón and Vicente Rodriguez, David Lopez. Did you feel at times that you were playing in an almost Spanish team?
Well, yeah, because my British teammates were, they played the same style. So, and we had a great bond in the dressing room. It can be dangerous. I had it at Swansea. I played for Swansea for 5 years, and it was a season where there were 10 Spanish players. Well, between Spanish players and staff, and somehow, naturally, you tend to separate from the rest of the group, and that's not healthy. No. So, but the way we gelled in with the British players here was fantastic. They they welcomed everybody with open arms, and it was just fun. And we were very Spanish in a way. It's like the way the Brighton is playing now. You know, we just wanted the ball. I've watched some of the games back, and I've enjoyed watching us play. So it was great. The atmosphere was great. We were more than friends. We were like brothers playing out there, and I think that made a difference.
Yeah, it looked that way. It was a very entertaining side. And was it a shock to the system? Because we always used to think that, you know, the physicality and intensity of English football would take time to get used to, particularly in the Championship. Every game is a tough one in the Championship, isn't it? Did you find that? Did you get a culture shock at first?
Yeah, I did. I think my first game was Ellen Road away in League One.
Oh, you did then,
Leeds United, Swansea, and I came in. It was 1-0. We were 1-0 down, and I remember the ball got cleared by the defense, and as I was trying to control it, someone smashed me from behind. So still, you know, having the grass in my mouth, they scored the second goal. And then everyone was looking at me, and I said, okay, just welcome to England. You know, that's going to be different. I'm not going to have the time on the ball as I used to. But once you match the physicality, which is for me one of the easiest things in football. I mean, if you are as intense as the rest, the intelligence, the talent, you know, makes a difference. And I think that every single Spanish player that joined the club, because of the culture that was instilled already, you know, by the coaches and by the players that were at the club that played a certain way, it was very easy to adapt, and that's why we played some good football.
Yeah. So when you say adapting, you mean being physical with the opponent and also taking the knocks at the same time and just getting back up. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I mean, that's something that I already had in me, but I learned here in the UK even more. You know, not rolling around when you're kicked. Just get on with it, because some of the decisions you get from referees in Spain, you don't get them over here. So it didn't take me long, you know, to understand that. And once you actually match the intensity of the training as well, because it's hard, and obviously the games. I think that as Spanish players, we brought a little bit of flair, something different, a bit of intelligence, you know, to give to the team.
And the training ground was a field by the university, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It was, and we loved it. And when I look at the training ground now, it's just, I mean, it's unreal to see how far the club has come. But you know, we just wanted to be there every day. We didn't care. You know, obviously we had the Amex already, which was absolutely fantastic to play at. But yeah, there were different times, but there were good times.
Somebody told me that there wasn't an ice bath at the club in those days, so that some of the Spanish players used to go and jump in the sea to is that right? I think Bruno,
I didn't.
No, because you don't like the cold, do you?
Probably Calde did. We didn't have ice baths. We had, obviously, at the Amex. I struggled on the ice bath. You know, I had the physio on me all the time because I was always on the hot one. But we used to have these garbage, you know, bins where they put ice and water, and you had to go in. Oh, it was terrible, man. I really struggled with with those, but I had to.
I remember those. I think Bruno used to jump in the sea, apparently. So
Bruno likes it.
Yeah.
Bruno's the man.
And you enjoyed your life in Brighton, I imagine, because it's a pretty. I mean, you're from Barcelona, but it's a pretty cool place to live, isn't it? By British standards, anyway.
I loved it. You know, after 5 years in Swansea, where obviously we came from Barcelona, and it was difficult. You know, the life outside of football. I remember my first day driving to Brighton, we saw the Amex, and then we were taken to the hotel, and we had a walk with my wife. And my first daughter was just a baby, and we looked at each other and we said, "Woof, yes, yes, this is it." And from the first day, obviously we had our second daughter here. She was born in Brighton. She's a Brightonian. Yeah. Honestly, I loved every second of it. Even though my second season I got injured and I had a knee surgery. I don't know. I thought it was my place, you know. And you know when you find your place in the world. Yeah. So this is how I felt.
And you didn't want to leave?
No, not at all. No.
What happened there?
No, I mean, as I said, an injury. Didn't play too many games. Obviously, we qualified for the playoffs. We couldn't make it to the final again for a second season in a row. It wasn't my best season, and obviously the club had to make a decision, and they let me go. And obviously, it was painful at the time. And when you think back, you understand. You understand why they took that decision, and probably they took the right decision. But you know, personally, it was a difficult moment for me because as I said, I would have never left.
I was watching your goals yesterday, and I noticed that some of them were as an attacking midfield player cutting in, but you also got a number 9, a striker. You could finish in the box, couldn't you? You know, I see there's headers and tap-ins.
Yeah, well, I wasn't a great finisher, but I got into good areas. But goals weren't my thing. First season was a good one. Second season wasn't as good. But I could score the difficult one and miss the easy ones. You know,
Yeah.
I was that type of guy. But I always tried, to enjoy myself playing and think about who's coming to watch, so to give them something. And this is how I took my job.
I bet you would have loved to play in this team. I mean, as an attacking wide midfielder, you'd be getting the ball a lot, wouldn't you, in this team? I mean,
yes.
I suppose you played more or less in the Matoma position, didn't you?
Yeah, being very different to Mitoma. Thank God for Brighton because he's a superstar. But what we had at the time, I played as a winger without being a winger, really. We had Wayne Bridge just making the runs for me,
yeah.
And I was coming in, into a more central position. But in any position in midfield, looking at this Brighton team play, you'd love to be involved in. The way they move the ball, the intelligence of finding the spare man. It's just incredible.